Good morning, and thank you all for being here. Today we gather with a deep sense of responsibility to seek justice for Rawan Baseti. She was a cherished member of our community whose life was tragically taken on February 21st in a senseless act of violence. Rawan was a beloved daughter, sister, and friend, known for her vibrant spirit, warmth, and kindness. She touched the lives of so many people: her father Muhammad, her mother Hanan, her brothers Hani, Mehdi, and Khamis, and Kyle, and her sisters Sonia, Serene, and Sabrine. She had a deep love for her family, and nothing brought her more joy than spending time with her beloved nieces and nephews. She was a graduate of Dearborn High School, and she was continuing her education at Henry Ford College. She was hoping to become a physician's assistant. She was a young woman with so much promise, whose future was stolen in an instant. On the night of February 21st, Rawan was involved in a traffic altercation near Warren and the Southfield Service Drive. She was attempting to get a license plate number after a dangerous encounter with another vehicle. The situation escalated when the occupants of that vehicle opened fire, and Rawan was tragically killed. This police department is fully committed to ensuring that justice is served. Our detectives are working tirelessly to follow every lead, but we need the community's help. If anyone has information, no matter how small, it could be the key that we need to solve this case and bring Rawan's suspects to justice. To encourage information, Crime Stoppers is offering a $20,000 reward for details leading to charges in this case. The reward has been made possible through the generous donations of the Islamic Center of Detroit, J&T Crova Towing, and Ra'ed Isa and his sons from Ann Arbor. If you have any information, Crime Stoppers, please contact Crime Stoppers at 1-800-SPEAK-UP or submit a tip online. Tips can remain anonymous, and if the information leads to the charges, the tipster will be eligible for a $20,000 reward. I am confident that someone out there has some information that could be the key to solving this case. Rawan and her family deserve justice. So with that, I'd like to turn it over to Mayor Abdullah Hamoud.
Good morning, and I wish we were here under different circumstances. Rawan was a daughter to this family, a sister, but also a daughter to this community whose life was taken far too soon. And the commitment of this city, with the support of this police department, is to deploy every resource and asset that we have to bring the perpetrators to justice. And that is why we're thankful to those community partners, J&T Crova, Islamic Center of Detroit, and Ra'ed and his family as well, and his boys, that have put forth this $20,000 in partnership with Crime Stoppers to bring these individuals to justice. What we're asking for is for the community's assistance and support to come forward. The $20,000 is an opportunity to change your life, but most importantly, it's an opportunity to bring closure to the family that's standing here today. And I think that's why we're all here. And so I would like to turn it over now to Rawan's brother, Hani, who will speak to Rawan's life and provide further information.
Hello, everyone. I never thought I'd be standing here talking in front of all of you about my little sister, Rawan, becoming a victim of a cruel, violent crime. She was only 19 years old, loved, full of life, and innocent. She had a bright future ahead of her. Rawan was very beautiful, inside and out. Her smile could light up a whole room. She had the most beautiful and sincere laugh. To say that my family and I are devastated or heartbroken, it's an understatement. Losing Rawan broke us. She was one of those people that would make you laugh just by looking at her. Today marks the 1 month where she's gone. And as Muslims, we're taught to believe that if you kill an innocent life, it's as if you killed all of humanity. And that's how we feel today. My father is standing right behind me today, sadly, because he had to bury his little girl. As a parent, you never seem to think that you'll bury your younger ones. Yet here we are today, standing in front of you, talking about who was once a loving daughter, sister, and aunt. To the person or people who are responsible, we know that the DPD will bring justice. You stole Rawan's future, and you stole her from us. We urge anyone who's seen anything or heard anything to speak up so that my beautiful baby sister could get the rest she deserves. We urge you to come forward, no matter what information you have, no, little or small. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Hanny. Now with that, I'd like to welcome Dan DiBardino, the president of Crime Stoppers, up to the podium. Yes, Dan.
Good morning. As everyone has just reiterated, and I'm going to reiterate again, this young lady is a daughter, a sister, a member of the community, a young girl whose life has been taken away from her very, very suddenly and very cruelly. We know that somebody is well aware of what happened with this particular event, and we are asking that you please come forward. As the chief just told you and the mayor told you, you can call 1-800-SPEAK-UP if you choose not to call the police department. Your call will be answered in Dallas, Texas. It is not answered here in Michigan. You will not be able to identify who you are. You will not be able to tell us anything about yourself. All we know is that somebody out there knows what happened. We need you to pick up the phone, call 1-800-SPEAK-UP, and I guarantee you, as the president of Crime Stoppers of Michigan, you will remain anonymous. Please, we need your help. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Dan. That is very important. Now with that, I can open the floor up to any questions that anyone might have in the room.
Can you talk about just how senseless a road rage incident or something happening on the roads, and then we have this young girl whose life is lost? I know you talked about this before, but just how frustrating, angry you are, how senseless this kind of shooting is.
I mean, someone lost their life for nothing because there was a traffic altercation on the road, and they chose to start violently shooting out of the vehicle and killed this young girl. I mean, it's absolutely for nothing. It's entirely senseless. And yeah, I couldn't be more hurt or pained as this, and everybody else included. And it's just an entirely senseless act.
Rawan knows not to follow any cars. Rawan knows not to follow any cars. We've had that talk multiple times. If somebody scratched her car or hit you, don't. If you can't take a picture, don't take a picture. Someone told her to follow that car, and that's what she did. Sadly, one of her friends were the ones who told her to pursue that car, and that's what she sadly did. But yeah, she's never the one to just chase a car or anything like that.
Can you talk a little bit about what this loss means to you?
It means everything. I waited for her for 9 months when my mom had her. Every morning before I go to school, I'll kiss my mom's stomach. And we have this thing, it's called ruz wa halib, rice and milk. My mom used, it was our favorite snack as kids. My mom was pregnant with Rawan at that time. We would all get a cup and I would save mine for her. And when she was a baby, she loved sleeping. So what would my mom do? So she gets her full sleep. She would lock the door and she'll be sleeping in my mom's room, and I'll sit on the door waiting for her for hours just to go. So losing Rawan is me losing my whole life. That's my heart. And she was a child. She loved teddy bears. She loved toys and stuff like that. Like, she was always a kid. Yeah, she was 19 years old, but she loved stuffed animals. And I know she's in a better place. She's not in a cruel world suffering with any fake friends, or she's not suffering in this cruel world is all I can say.
What would you say to anybody who's watching about information that might lead to an arrest? What is your message?
Speak up. Because in the Quran we believe, account yourselves before you're held to account. Because if you hold yourself accountable in this life, Allah will forgive you and have mercy on you in the afterlife, because there's no mercy in the afterlife for anyone that kills an innocent soul, and she was nothing but innocent. The afterlife is eternal and this life is temporary, so would you rather hold yourself accountable in a temporary life or somewhere where it's eternal? We believe that this life is temporary and it's a test for us, for the believers, and the afterlife is eternal of peace. Either you get hell or paradise. And paradise is nothing but good. There's no sad, there's no grief. Everyone's reunited with their loved ones, and I believe that's where she is waiting for us.
I know your brother talked about it a little bit, but can you talk about the impact your death has had on your family?
I mean, God is keeping us together. The patience and God's promise that we would reunite in the afterlife is what keeps us together. Thank you.
Mayor, can you talk a little bit about how the community of Dearborn is dealing? I mean, this is an incredibly holy time for a good part of the Dearborn community. How are you all navigating this?
In these days and these nights, I know many in the community are offering their prayers to this family, prayers for patience, prayers for closure, and that's why we're here today. That's why you have community members and community institutions that have stepped forward and offering the $20,000 to help bring these perpetrators to justice. And that's how this community comes together in this time, and we have the utmost confidence in this department, the greatest police department in the state of Michigan, to help bring these perpetrators to justice.
Sir, can you talk a little bit about when rewards are offered in this way, there is that sort of concern or frustration about how that all works. Why was it so important to not only offer a reward, but how would you encourage people who may know something to get involved?
So there's, like the mayor said, there's $20,000 that can change their life, but more importantly, change his family's life and bring justice for Rawan and their family. And so I encourage people to reach out. You can do it anonymously. You can do it on the 1-800 phone number. You can do it online. There's a multitude of ways that you can remain anonymous to bring justice. And so I encourage somebody, and don't think that that information might not be helpful. Depending on what you may know, please reach out, no matter how small it is, and let us make that determination. But yeah, I encourage people to reach out. These people that committed this crime are violent, and they're going to continue to remain violent unless they're brought to custody. So who could it be next that could be the victim of a crime like this? If they shot so brazenly at somebody that was following them in a car over a traffic altercation, what else might they do? So let's make sure to get them off the streets and keep our community safe.
Chief, I happened to cover this when it initially happened, and there were two scenes at the time. One where the victim's body was found, and then a barricaded gunman situation that happened in Detroit. At the time, it wasn't clear if the two were linked, but can you talk about that? Because I think the belief was that the barricaded gunman situation was connected to the initial road rage killing.
So here's what I'll tell you. My primary focus is making sure that I can bring justice in this case and bring charges, so I don't want to compromise the investigation. But what I will share with you is that there were arrests that were made originally, but here in the United States, we have to bring charges within a certain period of time, and so those people of interest were released pending further investigation. And so I'll just leave it at that for now.
But at the time when they were arrested, it was believed that they were connected
Correct.
to this? Okay. And is this still a joint investigation then with DPD and Dearborn?
No, we're the lead on this investigation. We're handling it entirely, but we are working with our state, local, and federal partners.
So at this time, are those people who were arrested still people of interest? It's just charges weren't brought and you're looking for more information?
I don't want to close the window that tight, but I'll just say that there are people of interest, but we'll take information on anyone at this point. Any other questions we may have?
Was Rawan alone or was anybody with the incident?
Rawan had some friends with her in the vehicle at the time the incident occurred.
What is your message if, we heard her sister talking about it. Say you're in a situation and maybe something happens. She may have been following to get a license, but what is your advice? What should people do in that?
My advice is not to follow a vehicle during a traffic altercation, but to separate yourself. And if whatever information you do have, if you can provide that to law enforcement, if you believe it needs to be followed up on, but don't put yourself in a position ever where you could be the victim of a crime like this.
Going back to the conversation about people in the car encouraging her to follow, are there consequences for people who are in the vehicle who do that? Because when you think about it, if her family is saying that they've talked about repeatedly not following a car if you're in a situation, and there were people in the vehicle that allegedly encouraged this, is that something that the law can look at?
At this point, I'm going to subscribe blame or accountability to other people that were in the car that were victimized and shot at. Any other questions that we might have? Again, thank you for coming out today. Thank you for getting this message out. And again, I encourage the public to reach out, call Crime Stoppers if you have any information. Thank you.